Guilty on all counts after a years-long investigation, former Santa Clara County Sheriff Lori Smith was convicted of corruption and misconduct.
Many who some may term bootlickers might point to this video we're about to watch from KTVU Fox 2 in San Francisco as an example where justice is served against a corrupt cop who violated her oath to the Constitution. But if you look at this case through the lenses of undiluted liberty, that's not really what's happening here. Former Santa Clara County Sheriff Lori Smith was found guilty on all counts of corruption and misconduct in a civil case on Thursday. Apparently, the district attorney had been working on this case for 4 years, and when the facts were brought forth, she abruptly resigned from her position earlier this week. Now, when I think of corruption, I think of mass, relentless extortion campaigns by professional road pirates in uniforms who spend their tax dollar funded days transferring wealth from the people by the barrel of a gun to the coffers of state-run departments. And when I think of misconduct, I think of examples like the video we did the other day where 2 officers harassed, detained, arrested, kidnapped, fingerprinted, and caged a blind man. And why did they do this? Because he was walking around outside as a free man with his walking cane in the back of his pocket, which they initially believed was a gun. And once they found out it wasn't a gun, they continued harassing the innocent man because he dared to trample on their egos by standing for his rights. So when I think of other cases of corruption and misconduct, the examples they give in this news story just don't cut the mustard.
Guilty on all counts after a years-long investigation, former Santa Clara County Sheriff Lori Smith was convicted of corruption and misconduct.
We had a system where there were 2 different standards, and under the law, everyone should be treated fairly and equally.
Lori Smith convicted on 6 charges in a civil corruption case. Good evening. I'm Julie Hayner.
And I'm Mike Meebeck. The guilty verdict comes just 3 days after Smith abruptly resigned from the sheriff's office. KTVU South Bay reporter LaMonica Peters live tonight in San Jose with more from the district attorney as well as what happens next. LaMonica.
The DA told me that they've been working on this case for about 4 years, and today a jury agreed that Lori Smith had been doing things that she should not have been doing and that it was time to hold her accountable.
So the DA was working on this case for 4 years. Surely he uncovered a web of massive corruption that led investigators to shut down the prison industrial complex pipeline, free thousands of people who had been caged for merely possessing a plant, refunding all the victims in their policing for profit hustle, and issued apologies and dropped charges and offered restitution for every individual who was personally harmed and economically terrorized by Sheriff Lori Smith and her department, right?
Prosecutors say former Santa Clara County Sheriff Lori Smith conspired to award concealed weapons permits for political favors, hide gifts from donors, and refuse to cooperate with an investigation with the County Board of Supervisors.
Conspired to award concealed weapons permits for political favors, hid gifts from donors, and refused to cooperate with an investigation? Now, aside from these 3 reasons falling into the category of hypocrisy and rules for thee but not for me, where's the corruption? Where's the extortion of the public? Where's the true criminal activity? Awarding concealed weapons permits would be easy by just leaving people alone to carry a gun or not if they wanted to. After all, these cops did swear to protect and defend the Second Amendment, didn't they? So why would you even need a permit or permission from the government? And hiding gifts from donors sounds like nothing compared to extorting revenues from motorists. And refusing to cooperate with a branch of a government agency that's probably just as corrupt as the sheriff's department itself? I'm not seeing a whole lot of substantial corruption going on here. At least not in the 3 things they listed. And after 4 years of investigation, that's all they could come up with.
The jury heard evidence from over 40 witnesses.
We are gratified that the jury considered all of the evidence that we uncovered during a lengthy and detailed investigation and found all of the allegations against the sheriff to be true.
Smith started her career in 1973 and was elected sheriff in 1998, becoming the first female county sheriff in the state. Still, after serving 6 terms, Rosen says the people should know that everyone, including law enforcement, will be held accountable.
No one is above the law. And that's a fundamental principle of our democracy that has been tested in the last several years by many political scandals. And I think something that we have reaffirmed in our community is that everyone is accountable under the law and everyone should be treated equally under the law. And that's what this verdict demonstrates.
Let's face it, laws are a bunch of words written on paper by people who are generally considered to be liars and thieves. No one is above the law is a ridiculous statement in light of the fact that most laws are immoral and are enforced at the barrel of a government gun. And we all know what a scam democracy is, since it's mob rule and mobs don't have the legitimate moral right to rule anybody.
Interim Sheriff Ken Binder released a statement saying, in part, the actions of a few people are not a reflection of the great work our deputies do every day.
What, the great work of power tripping on, plundering, and pummeling the people they claim to be protecting and serving? Anybody interested in talking about that uncomfortable truth, which amounts to real corruption and misconduct?
The men and women of the sheriff's office are looking forward to new beginnings with the sheriff election coming up next week. On Tuesday, November 8th, voters will elect the county's next sheriff, a race between longtime Santa Clara County Deputy Kevin Jensen and former Palo Alto Police Chief Bob Johnson.
This is an opportunity for our community and for the sheriff's office to turn the page and to I welcome the next sheriff, whoever that is, and look forward to working with him.
Guys, no pages are being turned here because no real corruption has been revealed, let alone dealt with.
Rosen says 3 other people have already admitted to bribery involving concealed weapons permits. 2 other bribery trials for Under Sheriff Rick Sung and Captain James Jensen will start in January.
There wouldn't be bribery for concealed weapons permits if there wasn't a continual violation of the Second Amendment by said sheriff's department. But that wasn't a blip on their radar under the category of corruption. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even a blip on their radar at all.
Now, although Smith has already resigned, Rosen says he still expects that the judge will formally remove her from office on November 16th.
So there you have it, found guilty on all counts of corruption and misconduct. What do you guys think about this? Leave your thoughts for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, take time right now to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know. I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe for more tyranny-busting content.